Huh. That's weird. Install this. Yeah, like I'm gonna install some random flash drive that somebody sent me. Here goes nothing. Yeah. What? Oh. Hey. I just had like the craziest dream with a flash drive and a briefcase. You know what? I'm not going to bore you with the details. I know you're here to check out Symphobia 4 Pandora. So I'm going to show that to you today and all of its fancy tools that it has to offer you to make some really crazy music. Alright you guys, so yeah, like I said, we're going to be checking out a plugin called Symphobia 4 Pandora. This is from ProjectSAM. If you were unfamiliar, I actually have done 2 videos on plugins of theirs, the Free Orchestra and the Free Orchestra 2. Really, really amazing plugins, especially for free. They are chock full of really good instruments and really, really good samples that you can use to craft some really, really amazing music for absolutely free. So go check out those videos as well. But today we're going to be taking a look at one of their bigger libraries and their most recent addition to their Symphobia series called Pandora. It's a horror, thriller, action, sci-fi specific orchestral, hybrid orchestral plugin that allows you to craft things like what you just heard. Full disclosure, ProjectSAM did send over a review copy for me at no cost to me, but that does not change my opinion or my thoughts about this plugin whatsoever. I will never, ever, ever lie to you guys about a plugin, especially if they give me something for free or offer money or anything like that. I will always be transparent and always be honest with you guys about everything I talk about on this channel. So before we jump directly into the plugin, I'll just give you a quick little overview of the piece that I wrote that you heard in the beginning. It's actually quite simple, and it's just kind of really heavily layered stuff, and even as a total, there's only 15 tracks. So in regards to huge sounding cues or pieces of music, this isn't that deep. At the very beginning, I have some drones that were created with the plugin that you heard playing in the beginning of that outdoor scene and everything. Really, really cool stuff. And then we jump into the main track. As you can see in the orange, I've got 3 different percussion tracks here. Some main big war drums. And then we've got some cymbals in here. Really nice stuff. We've also got toms that I added in to ramp up the intensity. That was pretty much it for percussion. Just 3 different tracks. Then we got some string stuff going on in the green. A lot of pulses, a lot of ostinatos. We got this one. Really nice. We got this one. Pair them together. Then I added a third, which sounds like this. Pair those three together. And you got a nice sound. Later down the road, I actually add a little extra little string section here to play unison with the piano. Just to add some texture and grit. This low ensemble in blue is one of my favorite parts. It's all the big brass. Really nice, like Hans Zimmer-y type of brass there, big bold. Then we've got this low piano. Really, really nice. And then we get down to some of the more special effects stuff here in the teal color. These are some downward string crescendos, which I really liked in this track. And then I've got some risers here at the end of the track, as well as the beginning of the track. It's a fall. Really nice. And then the last section for the final reveal of my dead body. We've got these haunted, whatever, I don't know what you call these, but chaos is what I call it, chaos. Along with a nice little tail at the end for those creepy crawly string articulations that I love. And that's literally it. That is literally all of the tracks that make up that original piece of music that you heard at the beginning of this video. Very simple, really good stuff to stack and layer together to craft a really, really interesting and fitting piece of music. Okay, so now that we've got like the boring breakdown of the song section cleared out of the way, or if you've skipped to this point directly, now we're going to check out some of what the sounds are in this plugin, because there's a lot to offer. Way more than I could ever cover in a single video, but I will do my best to kind of give you a good surface level glimpse of what this plugin has to offer. So when you first open it up in Contact, you are presented with cinematic drums, hits, and rolls. You heard this in the percussion that I used for this track. Really cool stuff, and that's what you open to by default. I can go over the little layout here, but these instrument layouts here kind of change depending on what patch you have. They'll have different odds and ends in there, so I'll try to cover that as they come by. But the basic setup is you've got the instrument patch that you load up here on the far left, and then you can mess with the trigger, the sample, and the waveform. You can time stretch things. Like, there's a lot of customizability in this plugin. This also affects the rolls and how long they kind of play for, so it's set for 4 beats right now. But if I wanted that to be like 10 beats, you can change that, so that's really nice to have. So you can get any length that you want, and you can change how many bars. So it's really cool. Yeah, you can really stretch things out as far as you want. You can adjust it to seconds if you want instead, or you can just turn it off and do a total length, or you can set it to hit like the downbeat of the next measure in your music. So that's, you know, a lot of different ways you can have this play. You can quantize to the next beat if you want to do that, or just before, or exactly on beat. Like, you can do very different things to help you quantize on the spot. Really, really cool addition I've never really seen in a plugin before. And then you've also got some adaptive sync settings here, a little more technical stuff with your CC switches and your velocity controls and all that. So if you really want to dive in, you can mess with those settings very easily. Then you've got the mic section, which is made up of a mix of a few. You've got the close mic, you've got the stage mic, you've got the far mic, and you've got the wide mic. And then this mix knob is just a mix of all of it together. So that's really cool that you have different IRs or different mic positions there to kind of change your sound. It's always really nice to have those, just to kind of make yourself sound different. You've also got some effects here. You can see a few of them listed at the front. Reverb limiter, low EQ, delay, cutoff, screamer, which is kind of like a distortion filter effect. But you can expand that to see more special effects here with a stutter, which can change the intensity and speed of the stutter. There's all sorts of crazy things you can do with the stutter. There's a pitch envelope adjuster here as well. Then you've got some delay settings, which is really nice. You've also got a cutoff. You've got those screamer settings. You can adjust the stereo width if you want. Make it mono. Spread it completely. So there's a lot you can do there as well. You also got the low and high EQ knobs here to adjust your tone. Then you've got the reverb settings here, and you can change the IR size. That's like the mic positions and stuff like that. It's just like the reading and response of how the reverb works. And then you've got a limiter, and you can hit lucky for randomizing all these settings here if you want, to just get something random. And then you can also reset them back to default. So there's a lot you can dive into with effects. I'm not going to do that here just because it would take way too long. But if you want to, kind of sound design and craft a very specific sound to you, you can go super in depth with all of this and change things to your heart's content. There's a lot of stuff that you can do. So then you have the controls section here with attack and release. That's like your very common attack release knobs. You can change between the mapping and velocity. You got decibel levels for different padding and stuff, and you can pitch down the audio up and down. You can also, let's see, press note you want to fix velocity to, so that's fixed velocity, and then map. So you can pick a note and spread it over the entire range. So that's really cool too. I didn't know that. That's really nice to have. So that's similar to some of Heaviosity stuff where they allow you to pick a certain sample and then spread it out over the keyboard. So that's a really nice touch. And then you can expand that as well. You can adjust the pitch bend range on some of these instruments that have some pitch bends. You got your round robin settings. I always recommend leaving those on. You also have velocity trimming, so you can kind of limit yourself in terms of what velocities you can hit on your MIDI keyboard or instrument or on your pads. And then you can trim the range for like the pitch bend and stuff, and to be within a certain parameter of what you want it to be, so it's not too wild. You can make it a smaller dynamic change, like just more sound designy stuff if you want to dive in super deep. And that's pretty much the basic layout of this plugin. So if you really want to dive super deep into it, you can, but you don't have to, because we have something called presets. So now we're going to talk about the presets and get into the real good stuff of the sounds. So over here in Contact, you'll see you have all these different banks. There's clusters, combos, effects, percussion, pulses, risers, and tonal. So there's quite a lot of stuff in here. We will run right down the list. So we got clusters here, and it is exactly what you think clusters are. They are just like clusters of notes. And you got some soft sustains of clusters. So they're not like ending. You got some pads essentially that you can create a dissonant sound for if you really wanted to go and do that. It's really, really nice to have. Really cool stuff. I love clusters. I love making horror music, so it's really fun to use. You've also got some low ensemble wide brass here, which will bring us to really, really nice sounding stuff. I'm going to turn this down just a little bit so we don't clip. Let's see. We also got some low piano clusters, which is nice. which just seems kind of like a roll. And then you've also got strings as well. There's a whole lot of instruments in here, so bear with me. A lot of stuff. So as you can hear, there's a lot of different articulations and dynamic levels that you can play a lot of these instruments in. And then you've also got some tutti orchestra patches here. And sustains. It's always good that when you have something as super staccato, you have some sustained versions of it as well. And they added that into the same patch, which is really nice. You've also got some winds here. This is going to be the high winds. Piercing. Very, very piercing. You've got low winds. So really good stuff that you can use. And then you've also got like different articulations, like I said, like crescendos and swells and stuff like that. So it's really cool. And that's kind of like the main setup for these presets for like the traditional orchestral sounds that you get for the instruments included in this plugin. But then once you start getting lower into these different banks, you'll have stuff that can vary slightly from what we already went over, but also some of these are patches that are highly processed in different ways and start to venture into the hybrid orchestral side of things. So they start to sound maybe a little more synthy. It just kind of depends on what the patch is and what you create yourself, I guess. But like this one specifically, Dr. Freeze, right? Highly processed, right? But it sounds cool. So there's also stuff like that included in here with some of the patches. That's cool. It's like a slow pitch bend down. So there's a lot of different patches that do, yeah, like that. Definitely not organic. But that's the beauty of this plugin. You've got the organic stuff and you've got the highly processed like sound designy stuff that allows you to really craft your sound and, like I said, do specifically sound design. It really helps to build a nice hybrid orchestral track. It's just really, really nice. So we'll check out one more in the cluster section. We'll check out Earthquake because that sounds cool. So yeah, that's Earthquake. Nothing too fancy. It's a low and sounds pretty cool. So yeah, and then in the next bank we've got combos. Now combos can take a minute to load sometimes, depending on which one you pick, because what the combos do is the combos combine, hence the name combo, different patches together, essentially, to give you either stacks of sounds or on a larger keyboard, sections of the keyboard that have the different instruments so you can play them simultaneously and save CPU power by having it all in the same plugin. So you can hear all the tutti orchestra, the harp, and the timpani and grand cassa in there. Really cool. And then it looks like you've got a Brahm combo here, which is always really nice for trailer music and big intense moments. Oh boy. It's time to get writing some Inception music, am I right? So there's a lot of cool stuff in here. Specifically, one that I saved is this Dianaga Danger because I used it at the end of my piece with this. like that one a lot because it's just chaos. It's a whirlwind of chaos, and I really, really like that. Ghouls and Ghosts, I remember, is also another cool one. Really, really cool stuff. I like it a lot. There's just so many cool sounds. And again, this is very genre specific. So I know you're like, oh, this is all like horror sounds. Well, yeah, that's kind of the point of this plugin. So then you've got, let's see, Mad Monsters is another combo. Now, I'm sure you can imagine just where you can use all of these different sounds in like a horror movie scenario. So now we've got one that's not stacked. This is one that's kind of more separated, right? So you got some sustains again, and then all of them stacked together. So it's really versatile. And then we've also got, let's see, let's do trailer risers and see what that kind of sounds like, because everybody loves trailer risers. So that's cool. Or you can jump in velocity and intensity. And again. Now, sit here and tell me you wouldn't use that in a trailer, because I know you would. It's really, really cool stuff. A lot of other plugins don't do this, so it's really great to have. And then you get into some of the special effects like I was talking about earlier, down in the lower section of the banks. Right? So there's a lot of cool specific orchestral stuff and then more process stuff that really allows this plugin to be super versatile and do a lot of different things. So it's really, really cool. The combos is a really great way to get started on something. It's kind of similar to other plugins that have those combos that give you a good starting point to get an idea worked out really, really fast, because it's got multiple instrumentations loaded up in the same preset, so that you can really get going and build something cool. So yeah, there's a lot to explore. You also have effects, and the effects is really fun as well, because it's exactly what it sounds like. So it's really, really cool stuff that gives you, I don't know, all the tools you would ever think of for like a horror movie. It's just like, it gives you all the things. There's just so many presets. Whoa, I like that one. I'm going to save that because I like that one. Wild Horror, right? I just like that effect. The chaos, I just really love that. It's really great for a multitude of different things when it comes to filmmaking. So yeah, and then you get special effects done to effects, if that gives you any indication. And you'll notice with some of these, they might take a second to load, because the entire plugin itself is 80 gigs. 80 gigs. entire plugin is 80 gigs. So yeah, 80 gigs is quite a large library. So make sure you have the space for it when you buy it, but that just means there's a lot of content for you to go through and a lot of tools for you to use to craft your music. It's really, really great. I am excited that I get to dive deep into these even more outside of showing it to you, because I've only scratched the surface of it. So yeah, there you can explore to your heart's content with those. It's really, really great. I'll look at this one though, because I think this is the one I used at the beginning. No, it's different actually. I think. Yeah, I think it's a little bit different, but either way, you have a drone thing you can do, and you can make drones if you want to sound design stuff a lot with a lot of these presets. So yeah, do with that what you will. Then we get to the percussion. So we heard hits and rolls earlier, which was really great. Gives you all the heavy hitting stuff. But then you've also got like effects collection for the cymbal ensemble. I like me a bowed cymbal. It's always a really, really, really cool sound. So you got all that. You also have the hits for like crashes. And then you've also got rolls, right? Which are great for like transitions and stuff. You got Grand Casa stuff with yeah, so you got all those hits. You got rolls, soft hits, soft rolls. You even got tam-tams. So that's fun. If you want to throw those in somewhere. You also got timpani, which is really nice, because timpani always goes well if you want to maybe go some Danny Elfman style horror. Yeah, so timpani, always fun. You got toms, which is something I used in this piece as well. Toms are always nice. You also got tutti percussion in different versions. Really nice with like rim shots and just regular hits. Really, really good stuff. There's so much to this. Like, it's really great. That's cool. I always like that. It's really cool that you get percussion in this plugin as well, and it's not just the tonal stuff, because again, I crafted the entire piece you heard at the beginning using Pandora only. There's no other plugins other than like my mix chain and master chain and whatever. Like, this is all the instrumentation is just Pandora. So it's really, really versatile, and there's so much you can do. And again, there's all the more special effects and stuff with percussion that you can do. It gets wild. I mean, like, what even? All sorts of stuff. So you can go, again, super, super deep. It's really good stuff all the way through. You've also got pulses, which I really love, because ostinatos and pulses give you rhythmic value. They give you texture, all sorts of fun stuff. That's a cool one. Let's see. We got... What else do we got? These are cluster pulses, so that's always a good indicator of a horror movie. So that's really good to have. You can do that all over the place and just go psycho. Me, me, and, you know, stab someone in the shower. You also got pulses for strings, not just brass. Excuse my timing, it's a little bit wonky at times. But yeah, that's really nice to have, even though they're clusters. Don't worry, there's some other stuff that isn't clusters, so you can do normal tonal string brass stuff as well. But it's really nice to have these different options. So you can see already this is some tonal pulses, so you can get those in there if you want some chordal stuff. So that's really good to have. You also have the mid strings in there as well. Are they sustains? Nope. Accents. So there's all sorts of articulations and different ways that all these things are played, and it just, again, adds to the value of what you get with this plugin. Let's see, what's stutter scope? Let's check that out. Not sure the yellow thing does anything. I'm not sure what that does, but all right. So yeah, there's special effects things in here as well. Not as many, but let's check out these Rise and Fight preset. What is that? Oh. Is it just gonna keep going? It's just gonna keep going. Unless it's like a shepherd's tone, but I don't think it is. So yeah, you got some really cool effects in there as well. And again, pulses are really essential for texture and rhythmic value if you don't have percussion, but you tie in pulses with percussion and stuff, ooh, it fits this genre real well. Then we've got the risers. So string downers are some of my favorite kinds of string special effects. Gee, where did we hear that? Oh, the very beginning of the main piece of music that you heard at the beginning of this video. So it's... we got other kinds of articulations in there. Oh, gee, I almost used that at the end of the video. Yeah, it's almost like I used everything in this and it sounds really cool. So yeah, it's crazy good stuff. Then you've got accelerated staccato, I'm assuming is what that means. That's cool. Nice. You've also got arco. A little more legato based. You've also got some harmonic risers, which is nice. In different dynamic levels, which is really great. So it's not all at 100%. You can do some kind of subtle stuff. Then you've got solpant tremolo, which is nice as well. Really good stuff. I mean, these samples just, you really can't beat them. They sound really good. I know this is a few years old, but it just sounds really good. And I love risers, you know? And then you've got special risers if you really want to go into the special effects patches. That's using that special stutter effect in there right here that we talked about at the beginning. So yeah, that's really cool stuff. Again, there's all sorts of special effects and stuff that you can cool. I like that one, actually. And then we'll check out shutting down, because that sounds kind of cool too, actually. I'm not going to lie. String downers. Huh. It's kind of cool. Little kind of synthy action, right? Because it's more processed. So yeah, risers, really quintessential. Then we've got the tonal stuff, like I was mentioning earlier. As you can see, there's a lot more of like the playable stuff, not the special effects patches, but like the actual bass instruments here as tonal stuff. So you've got horns, crescendo, diminuendo, swells, and then all sorts of like different articulations, like I've been stating throughout this entire thing. So you've got stuff like that. You got stuff like this. You've also got swells that are really nice to have. And you've got them brass horns. You've got some rips if you want. You've got shorts like staccato. You got trills that are really nice as well. Really nice to have because you're going to use it. Then you got the low ensemble brass, which is really nice as well. Really cool to have. I love the low Inception Hans Zimmer style. And then you got sustains on the right, so that's really cool. And then you've also got a harp section here as well with glissandos, which is nice because on the left, it's minor keys, and on the right, it's major. So you can actually fit tonally your glissandos with your harp. So that's really cool. And the glissandos just sound really cool. You also got the low piano that you heard in my piece, which I played something like that. Something like that, yeah. Low piano. It's nothing special. The only thing I wish was that it wasn't just low piano. Like, I get this is very focused on the horror, sci-fi, thriller genre of music, but it would have been nice to have an expanded piano maybe. And you know what? I'm going to do this, and let's see what this map thing does. Okay, so it just maps that note across the entirety of that limited section. So yeah, I was hoping maybe it would expand to the rest of the key roll, but it does not. That's unfortunate. So I do wish there was more piano, but the low is nice. It really fits the vibe that this plugin is meant to go for. So I get why they did it, but also why limit the piano? The strings are also really nice. The collegno is some of my favorite because I like the sound. I just like that sound. I don't know why. It just sounds cool. Then you got low strings. This is going to be a diminuendo articulation. And as you can see, again, this is taking a second, but that's just because there's so much built into this plugin. And those strings do sound really good. Not synthetic. They sound very organic. You've even got swells. The strings in this, you know, they're not to the level of some maybe very string-focused plugins out there, but they sound really, really good still. And again, this is a very genre-specific plugin. But, I mean, once you add everything into this and make a whole song, you really aren't going to tell. It just... So yeah, and again, there's articulations all over the place. Then you've got some cool stuff like chord textures, which is this weird like balance between open chords, which I'm guessing is just octaves and fifths, but then you can switch it here where the key switches in red to a sus2 or sus4, or just go back to open. So that's really cool. You get some like chord textures in there to leave things open, and that's maybe the more sci-fi thing, like kind of mystery stuff going on. Really, really cool to have amongst all the different textures and sounds that you can get with this. And that starts us in the mid section of strings. So you have the collegno of the mid strings, which is nice as well. So it's a little higher up. Really cool effect. And then you've got some glissandos in the mids, which is nice as well. Which you heard some of these in my piece as well. Those little glissandos to minor second, major second, minor third, and tritone. Really great dark dissonant sounds. Really, really great to have. And obviously, I utilized it. And then you've got the tutti orchestra, which is always really fun to have. And again, that gets very tonal now. That's always nice to have. You got diminuendo articulation as well with crescendos, swells. So that's always really, really cool. Now I'll make note up here with these key switches. They tend to switch different things here on the main instrument section. So as you can see, you have these different note lengths with a whole note, half note, and a quarter note. So you can change the length of what you're playing and how long things get held out. So a whole note versus a quarter. Right? So there's different things, like I said, that pop out depending on the patch that you use. And then you do have stuff with the winds as well that's very tonal that you play up high. You also have short, right? So more staccato that you can play. And then you've got also low winds, which is really nice because those have a very unique sound. So that's nice to have, or you can go the short route if you want to play it more like that. Really, really awesome to have. So that kind of covers the tonal stuff for the most part. So there's a lot you can do. It's really, really great. And then you've got the special effects stuff down at the bottom, like what this is called flyby, and I have no clue what it is. Oh, that makes sense, like a car going by. It's kind of funny. You've got stuff with the harp, that's arcade. Just, again, really highly processed versions of the patches that can do some interesting hybrid stuff. That's cool. And as you can see, there's so many other presets in here for special effects and stuff. It's just, it's insane. Heavy machinery. What's this? That doesn't even sound like an orchestra anymore, right? So that's cool. You can set up some really cool atmospheres with all of these. Like, what is, like, come on. That's just really cool sound design stuff. And it's really awesome that they included things like that. It does take time to make those patches for them. So, like, the fact that they include them in everything is really nice. So yeah, there's a whole mess of stuff that you can run through, and you can get lost in this plugin. So that is kind of just scratching the surface for Pandora. There is so much to this plugin. You could dive deep for hours. And like I said, it's like 80 gigs of samples and engine and presets and stuff. So definitely dive deep and find stuff, because there's so many hidden gems in here. I still haven't found everything, but I already am in love with this plugin for writing horror, sci-fi, thriller stuff. It is so freaking cool, and I am really glad that I got a chance to check it out. I was really happy with the piece that I wrote for it, and I actually wrote the piece first and then form fitted the short film to the piece. So that was interesting. It's usually kind of the other way around, but yeah, this is a really cool plugin. All right, you guys, so I think that's where I'm going to leave it for now. I can always do further videos covering stuff with Pandora or breaking down the writing process a little bit more, but this plugin has like 400 something presets. Yeah, 428 presets. It's 80 gigs. There's a whole huge universe inside of this plugin. So there's so many places you can get lost in. And if you're looking to write horror, thriller, sci-fi, mystery, or action type of hybrid orchestral music, this is a really useful tool. Like, let's say you can only get one plugin, like you're starting out, you only have money for one plugin, but you want to write horror and sci-fi stuff. Well, Pandora has all the different instruments that you need that I've showcased. You got percussion, you got winds, low and mid and high, you've got brass, you've got strings, and you've got cymbals and special effects. So it's kind of all encompassing. So you can write entire tracks with just this plugin. You don't need other instruments to write a track. Pandora will write the track for you, like all of it. It's just includes everything that you would need. It's not super deep into every single instrument section, but it gives you enough of each section to allow you to do what I did and craft an entire piece using Pandora exclusively. So would I recommend getting this plugin? Hell yeah. Like I said, if you're wanting something that's very horror, sci-fi, thriller, genre specific, and that's something you really like doing, or if you're on a budget and that's something you're looking to do, Pandora is like honestly my top recommendation for that because of everything that it has. It's just a really good multi-tool for writing that style of music, and I had a lot of fun writing with it, and I'm going to still use it from now on for a lot of stuff because I like the sounds in it and I like the capabilities that it has. So right now, ProjectSAM is having their Halloween sale, so a lot of their stuff is on sale right now, including Pandora. So I'm going to leave a link down in the description so that you can go pick up Symphobia for Pandora for yourself on sale and save yourself a few bucks. I want to say thanks again to ProjectSAM for allowing me to check this out. It was really fun. I'm really happy with the way things turned out, and I got to do something a little bit different with the short film. So let me know what you think down in the comments, and thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next video. Stay metal, my friends.